Hello folks, welcome to OTD, also known as On The Deck, where you can get all the sports in 10 minutes. My name is Adam Orduna. This is my mom, Gina.
He is the journalist.
She's the enthusiast.
I am always enthusiastic when we're talking about football.
Yes, today is a football day. Very excited for that. We are getting closer and closer by the second, by the minute, by the hour, by the day, yes, by the week. We are getting closer. She's rocking the Big 12 hat today.
This is an official
also
Big 12 hat, by the way.
Today.
Yes.
Yeah, official Big 12 hat.
And by official, it was given to you when you were a Big 12 football player.
Yes.
The league gives out stuff. The conference gives out
yes,
stuff.
Exactly.
And you gave it to your mama.
I did, yes. I thought it would look great on you, and it does. And we are going to be talking about football this whole episode, so I hope you guys are in for that.
Absolutely.
We've got some topics that we want to bring up.
In fairness, some of the rookies have reported to rookie mini camp already.
Yep.
The pros are gearing up for camp. We're only about 42 days away from college football kickoff.
Gearing up for camps and things like that, which is great.
Football news.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the NFL as some of these bigger headlines within the league, because that's really what's been talked about right now as teams are starting to gather themselves. The Cowboys have been in the news the whole summer. And one guy specifically has been in the news, it seems like, every other week over some little stuff that continues to build up to big stuff. We're talking about Ezekiel Elliott here, the all-star running back for the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. We all know he got drafted top 5 out of last year's draft to the Cowboys, coming from Ohio State. Great talent, has potential to really just be one of those guys, maybe a Hall of Fame type guy. But he continues to put himself in positions that I just don't even know how to explain it. They're just, you call knuckleheads. He puts himself in knucklehead positions. We're saying knucklehead, but it's just, you know,
the emphasis. It's knucklehead.
It's the emphasis on what's going on.
You don't even deserve the knuckle. You're a knucklehead. That's what that is.
And it's just little things that, like, wouldn't necessarily always put you in jail, but they could put you in jail. And it's, when you're that, you know, high profile of a person, you just can't do those things. And so there was a bar fight over the weekend, and Zeke was in the bar, and allegations came out that he started the fight, or he was a part of the fight, or whatever. He was involved in the fight somehow, or the bar brawl, and anything that happens with him always comes out in the news. And so this was just one more incident that continues to get in the headlines that's dealing with him. And so there are no charges that have come out because there just isn't enough evidence. What'd they say? The guy, they said they talked to someone.
There was a 30-year-old man who got punched in the face. He got knocked down. He went to the hospital for treatment. He was fine and released. And on Sunday night, or Sunday afternoon, everybody was saying, oh, it was Zeke who punched him, but the guy couldn't identify who it was.
Right.
And by Tuesday, Wednesday, no witnesses could identify who it was.
Nobody
and so the police were like, okay, somebody got punched. Nobody knows who it was. We're moving on. We actually have real crimes to investigate. So that's what's happened. I think what I feel bad about the story is that if Zeke's name is said ever, unless it's him mentoring kids at the Boys and Girls Club, it's going to be headlines.
He should be doing anyways.
It's going to be negative speculation, and he is not going to get the benefit of the doubt.
Correct.
Because in this case, we don't know who punched the guy.
Nobody
maybe
knows.
it was Zeke, maybe it wasn't.
Right.
But just the fact that his name was out there, it got all these headlines. So at this point, there's nothing. This is a non-story. Zeke is moving forward, but he's got other stuff to worry about, like you said.
Yeah.
He got a speeding ticket for going 100 miles an hour in a 70, which probably meant he was on the interstate, putting his foot down too hard. And it's just a trickle.
A domestic abuse
thing that's been hanging up with the charges were dismissed.
Exactly. The miracle.
Something on a boat.
The boat incident.
Again,
fender benders.
He can't drive. He needs to not be behind the wheel.
Just like, you know, and a lot of these things he's taken care of, or you know, the weed shop stuff, like he's of age to be in there, and he's in a city where it's fine. But when you're in the NFL and people are looking at you all the time, all of those things matter.
Knucklehead. It's just
knucklehead.
People just need to stop saying his name. It's like we need to go. It's just like, hey, until you run your first touchdown, we don't need to hear Zeke. We need to hear Zeke Elliott scores on a 25-yard dive.
That's the next time we hear his name.
That's the next time you need to hear his name.
Right.
All right. Well, who else?
Speaking of running backs and Hall of Fame players, O.J. Simpson now has a hearing about potentially getting out of jail.
On parole.
On parole, even. And there are a lot of stories coming out saying that he has been the ultimate, most upstanding model inmate that you could possibly be. I guess there's like a flag or two-hand touch football league within the jail, and he's like one of the coaches, and he's like one of the head janitors, you know, when, you know, every guy's got like jobs or whatever, and he's, you know, putting stuff away. I don't know what he's doing, but apparently he's just been a really good, outstanding guy. And there's a hearing about potentially letting him get out. There are a lot of thoughts on that, and we don't have all day to get into it, but what do you have any quick thoughts or anything you want to say about it, or not so much?
No, I do. And then here's my quick thought. There's justice and then there's fairness.
Yeah.
To me, justice is that O.J. Simpson spends the rest of his life in jail. Because I have evolved on this, and I definitely think about the Goldman family.
Sure.
And I think about how old that young man was when he was literally butchered to death.
Slain, yeah.
And if you believe O.J. did it, which I do, I believe justice would be that O.J. Simpson would spend every day of his life in jail. Now, the difference is there's fairness. In fairness, he was not convicted of that crime. He was actually found not guilty.
Correct.
And the crime he was convicted of, he's already served the time for that.
Yeah.
And now he's been a model prisoner.
Yeah.
He's been helping other people. It's time for parole. And what is fair is that for the crime he was convicted of, that he should get parole. So there's justice and fairness. And so it is, that's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Justice, he'd be in jail forever. In fairness, he probably should get paroled for the crime that he was actually convicted of, because he's done his time and done it well.
Right.
So those are my only thoughts on that. I really wish that, you know what, this whole thing is just sad and unfortunate.
Look, the reason why we brought it up is because it is the headline. It's this.
Oh,
this
ESPN
case
is running the parole
One
hearing.
of the most iconic cases in history.
But it had so many layers.
And so there is so many
Race,
layers.
wealth, sports, celebrity,
it is
and murder.
Ongoing. And so we just can't even get into it. But again, the point is OJ's up for a hearing to
parole.
Potentially, you know, see what happens for the rest of his life. And so it is a new story, and
justice
it's dealing
and
with
fairness
sports,
are not always the same thing.
We wanted to bring it up. Exactly. So let's go ahead and transition back to college here.
Yes.
We got the Big 12 Media Days that just took place down in Texas, down in the Dallas area. There are 3 new head coaches, as we talked about on our show on Tuesday. Baylor's got a new coach, Texas has a new coach, and OU has a new coach. Those are all 3 perennial powers within the Big 12.
Well, these are 3 teams that have been at the top of the Big 12
exactly.
you know, over the last several years.
Yeah, correct. And so, you know, Tom Herman for Texas, coming out of Houston, the young hot coach. You got Lincoln Riley from OU. And then, you know, it's one of those things that when it comes to Baylor, I don't really think it matters who the head coach is, but Matt Ruley is the new head coach for Baylor.
Is it Ruley or Rule?
Ruley. I really don't know. It was a shock to me, whoever they, again, I don't really think it matters at this point.
I thought they should have went and grabbed Les Miles, quite frankly,
well,
but, you know,
I
didn't get a vote.
anyone with any real cachet wants to touch that job because of how badly they're in shape. Now, the question is who has the biggest hill to climb when it comes to these programs? Because every situation was a little different, but each former coach left their program in kind of an odd fashion, or just in a abruption.
Well, abruptly.
Yeah,
well,
abruptly.
You know, with Art Briles, he had to go.
Yep.
Like that the stuff that has come out of Baylor, we talked about it a little bit. We don't have all day
for that either. Just
Art
like
Briles,
the OJ stuff, there's no time for it.
Art Briles needed to go. That was both just and fair. He had to go.
Yep.
Then you get Charlie Strong, who I don't think it was fair how he was fired. I don't think he had enough time. I think what's going to happen is that his successor is going to inherit a program he built.
Yes.
It's like he weeded the garden and did all the planting and tilling, and now the fruit's going to come up.
Yep.
And then we were all just shocked that Bob Stoops was like, "Hey, everybody, it's June.
Chucking
out
the deuces."
like in June. It was just really odd. So this, you know, and getting fired happens in college football. The Charlie Strong thing, you see that coming. You get 2-3 years, you're out.
Yeah.
But I would think we were all shocked about Bob Stoops.
Definitely shocked with the Bob Stoops
And the more we hear about what happened with Art Briles, we were all shocked initially, and now we're like, thank goodness that's over with.
Well, a 2-part question to that. Who do you think out of those 3 schools will have the better record from just the standpoint that they're in right now? OU's looking pretty good. Texas, like you said, Charlie Strong has really restarted.
Did all the hard work.
And Baylor has a lot of athletes. They're just a bunch of thugs.
Is that a question?
I mean,
That was a statement. Okay, well, Oklahoma was a preseason top 10 pick. I think Oklahoma has built things. I think the nice part is that Lincoln Riley's coming in. He's been a part of that staff. I think it'll be a lot more seamless. Every coach makes tweaks, but I feel like if Oklahoma just plays good ball, they should be fine.
Yeah.
I'm honestly going to say I think Texas has a really good shot to be a powerhouse again. Charlie Strong is the bomb.
Yeah.
He really is. You people in Florida are lucky you got a good coach coming over there.
Yes,
and Tom Herman is young and exciting. So I think you took somebody who did all the hard, dirty work and then put a young, exciting guy in place. I think Texas is going to really surprise people. Baylor is in trouble. Baylor is going to be back at the bottom of the Big 12, if not this season, within 2 seasons. Like right now.
Yeah.
They're just in free fall. Nobody wants to go there. The players that were bad who were winning are mostly graduated or kicked out.
Yeah.
They just have, I just don't think
Baylor. Got a lot of rebuilding.
Baylor's got a lot of trouble. What do you think?
Worse than Waco. Yeah, I think OU right now is in the best position. They're still a very strong program, even with Bob Stoops leaving. Tom Herman has a great upside. He's a young, fiery guy. And like we've been saying, Charlie Strong already planted those seeds, and there have been sprouts coming up for the last 2 years. And so all you got to do is just make sure that the planting doesn't
make sure the rabbits don't get you stuff. I mean, like, that's all you got to do.
Baylor, there's so much disarray. I just think it's going to be very hard for them to maintain that eliteness that they've had.
Baylor, welcome to the bottom.
Yeah,
Iowa State, and KU can fight for the bottom again.
Speaking of records, K-State right now is picked to be 3rd to finish in the Big 12, but we all know that can change. K-State looks very strong.
They do.
A lot of guys returning. It's going to be a
lot
great
of
season.
preseason, all Big 12 picks already.
A lot of watch list guys on the roster. Speaking of K-State, there's been a lot of headlines with what's been going on as a team. One of their offensive linemen came out, and it's been a big story because offensive linemen are usually tough, big, strong guys, but he came out to his team last year, 2016 season, but the story just came out a couple weeks ago. Scott France, who is a Lawrence High guy and is now
6'5", 293,
big man, one of the better guys on the football team. He came out, and so there's kind of a newer trend.
Came out as gay.
As gay, yes, right. As gay. I should make explain that a little bit more. And the same thing kind of happened in Arizona. One of the defensive ends, one of the younger guys, Mike King Johnson, also came out, but he was already out before he was recruited to Arizona. And so the big question is this going to be a trend that will happen more in the upper levels like the NFL, or is it just like, hey, maybe it's just a college thing because they're still younger and they feel like they can do that?
I think it's a college thing for a while. The pros proved out. Michael Sams came out, kissed his boyfriend on the mouth, and he couldn't even, he did make it through camp. Went to the Rams and then the Cowboys, and he was out. I unfortunately think that college tends to be where people are really open-minded. There's more accepting. A lot more acceptance. And, you have a little more anonymity, actually, in college for some reason. But I just don't see this changing on the pro level. We just had one of the
Ryan O'Callahan for the Chiefs and the Patriots, another great O-line guy, and just said, all right, I'll finally come out.
He played like last year or 2 years ago.
A couple years ago.
So he's only a year or two out of the league.
He already came out to some people on the organization.
And the Chiefs were very good about it.
It's just all the way open to everyone. He was still closed off.
So, but the question is going to be, will Mike King Johnson or Scott France get drafted? Because that's the question. Michael Sams was out at Mizzou before he got drafted.
True.
So we shall see. Let me say this, because I know we got to go. I hope so. It is 2017.
Yes.
We have got to be our better selves about this. Who cares who you sleep with at night? It's about, can you block the guy next to me?
Can you come off the end? Are you going to make that catch?
Exactly.
Are you the best player out there?
What kind of player are you? Because we got to win games. So who you go to bed with at night, who cares? Most of them go to bed with 14, 15 different people all the time.
Exactly.
Anyway, so who cares?
There's a long laundry list of those people out there as well.
Last thing I want to say, Coach Bill Snyder, who we love, he said if the young man had come out beforehand, it wouldn't have impacted his recruiting him at all. And that's what it should be. Coach
Snyder's a great person. They said, we want this to be a statement to help others that may feel scared or unsure, and hopefully this is a big stepping stone to people that are unsure.
How about this? Let's go win the Big 12.
Let's go. Yeah, Big 12 media days. I'm ready for college football to get started. It's one of those situations where when it starts, I'm going to be just head over heels because it's that time. It's time.
It's time for football.
Well, we want to say we're going to go inside because it is hot and we need to drink some water. Yes, we are super happy to give you our show today, and we want to say we appreciate your time.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you again, folks.
And Facebook Live.